Om Namo Bhagavate Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Verse 9. Yutha gunamstu prakriter
यथा गुणांस्तु प्रकृते
yugapat kramashopi va
युगपत् क्रमशोऽपि वा
bibarti bhurishastveka
विभर्ति भूरि शस्तेक
kurvan karmani janmabhi
कुर्वन् कर्माणि जन्मभिः
yatha gunamstu prakriter yugapat kramashopi va bibarti bhurishastveka
शस्तेक
kurvan karmani janmabhi
कुर्वन् कर्माणि जन्मभिः
yata gunamstu prakriter
गुणांस्तु प्रकृते
yugapat kramashopi va
युगपत् क्रमशोऽपि वा
bibarti bhurishastveka kurvan karmani janmabhi. Translation purport by Stephen Grace Avicharnaru Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Synonyms: yatha, as they are; gunan, the modes of; tu, but; prakrite, of the material energy; yugapat, simultaneously; kramasha, gradually;
gradually
api, also;
also
va, either;
either
vibhati, maintains;
liberty maintains
purisha, many forms; tu, but; eka, the supreme one;
the supreme one
kurvan, acting; karmani, activities; janmabhi, by incarnations. Translation, please repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one,
Supreme Personality of Godhead is one,
whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature,
whether he alone acts as material with the material nature,
or simultaneously expands in many forms.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms,
or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature.
or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Verse 10. No, this we have already taken. 11. Sutta uvacha iti upamantrito rajñā gunanukatane hare ऋषिकेशं मनुस्मृत्य
ऋषिकेशं विस्मृत्य
प्रतिवक्तुं प्रचक्रमे सूत उवाच इति उपमन्त्रितो जाज्ञा गुणानुखतने हरे ऋषिकेशं मनुस्मृत्य प्रतिवक्तुं प्रचक्रमे सूत उवाच इति उपमन्त्रितो राज्ञा गुणानुकथने हरे ऋषिकेशं मनुस्मृत्य प्रतिवक्तुं प्रचक्रमे Synonyms. Sutta Uvacha. Sutta Goswami said, iti, thus, upamantrita, being requested, rajñā, by the king, gunanukatane, in describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord,
in describing
the transcendental attributes of the Lord,
Hare of the personality of Godhead.
Hare of the personality of Godhead.
Rishikesham, the master of the senses.
Rishikesham, the master of the senses.
Rishikesham, master of the senses.
Anusmritya, properly remembering.
Anusmritya, properly.
Anusmritya, properly remembering.
Prativaktum, just to reply.
Prativaktum, just to reply.
Prativaktum, to reply.
Prachakrame, executed the preliminaries.
Prachakrame, executed the preliminaries.
Translation, please repeat after me. Sutta Goswami said,
Sutta Goswami said,
when
Sutta
Sukadeva
Goswami said,
was thus requested by the king,
when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested,
when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king
to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead,
to describe the creative
to
energy,
describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead,
he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna,
he then systematically
then
remembered
systematically remembered the master of the senses of Sri Krishna,
and to reply properly, he spoke thus.
and
to reply
properly
he spoke the
Purport.
purport. The devotee of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. They think that they can speak only what they are invested to speak by the Supreme Lord, the Master of the senses. The senses of the individual being are not his own. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord and that they can be properly used when they are employed for the service of the Lord. The senses are instruments and elements are ingredients, all endowed by the Lord. Therefore, whatever an individual can do, speak, see, etc., is under the direction of the Lord only. The Bhagavad Gita 15.15 confirms this. Sarvasya chakam kshidisani vishtu, mattasamidhi jnanam abhoganam cha. No one is free to act freely and independently, and as such one should always seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak, and by the blessings of the Lord, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects typical of the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna.
Hari Om Tat Sat Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Langai Tegirivat Kirpatamamunda Sri Gurundina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Meshwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. So these are very nice words. And when Sukadeva Goswami has been requested by Parishit Maharaj to speak about the creative energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he started remembering Lord Krishna systematically, Evam Parampara Praptam. And which means Srila Prabhupada very beautifully writes in the purport that the devotee does not speak whatever he likes or whatever he thinks whimsically. No. He is completely subdued by the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he completely surrenders unto the Lord because he knows that his senses are being used in the service of the senses of the Lord. Krishikena Krishikesha Shevanam Bhakti Uchyate. So that is called devotional service. Speaking about the Lord and hearing about the Lord's pastimes, glories, instructions, everything, they are all wonderful devotional service. And this devotional service can be performed by our senses only on the approval of the senses of the Lord. So when we surrender unto otherwise, na bhavet grahyam indriya, our jadendriya cannot perceive the Supreme Personality of God at adokshaja. Then how will you do yato bhakti adokshaje? So in order to speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have to be empowered. Your senses should be empowered. You should be inspired what you should speak when somebody is asking questions. So this is very, very important. And because the senses are the instruments and the elements are the ingredients, and everything is given by the Lord. So whatever one can speak, see, or whatever he wants to do, he has to do according to the inspiration given by the Lord and not whimsically or ignorantly, especially when we are in the devotional service. Because Krishna, he is present in everybody's heart. So if you want to use your senses in the service of the Hrishikesha, he will help you. And you want to remember the pastimes of the Lord as to how he has created, he can make you remember. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So there is no independent. There is a little independence only to either use or misuse my senses in the service of the Lord or otherwise. So a devotee will always do, see, or act in any way, or speak or hear only by the blessings of the Lord. And if we do that by the blessings of the Lord, then whatever we do will not have the 4 defects of human life. The 4 defects are applicable for the conditioned soul who is in bodily concept. But the moment a devotee has prepared to engage his senses in the devotional service by the blessings of the Lord, he is removed from the 4 defects as long as he is engaged in the devotional service. So that is the purport. You would like to say anything?
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मुगं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथा नामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। So the very important sloka, especially for those who are taking classes, this sloka is very important, how to get empowered and how to speak without any, how to speak without any mistakes. How to speak without any mistake. We are going to give Bhagavad Gita classes or Bhagavatam classes. So now we may end up with 2 things. One is when we speak, are we speaking correctly? Second is when they ask question, are we answering correctly? Or we are depending, or we are talking something away from the original subject matter. So Prabhupada wrote the book Bhagavad Gita as it is. So he wrote the book Bhagavad Gita as it is because he represented Krishna as it is. So how Prabhupada is able to know exactly what Krishna knows, Krishna speaking. So how the Acharya Parampara is empowered that they write books without mistakes. That is because one doesn't act independently, depending on their own ability, my capacity, my intelligence. I will answer like that, I will answer like that, I will. So we try to manage. So in material world, when we are taking classes, so this is the, we are speaking from our intelligence. But spiritual subject matter is beyond the intelligence. It is in the soul level. It is how it is beyond the intelligence. It's in the soul level, because spiritual means the information related to the spirit soul, God. All are called transcendental. Transcendental means beyond bodily concept. So our body has 2 different aspects. One is the gross body, another is the subtle body. The gross body is, we have mouth, we have eyes, we have nose. So this senses are there. And if I'm speaking, I'll speak through my mouth. And if I'm hearing a question from an audience, I'll hear through my ears. So karmendriya, jnanendriya, these are called indriyas or senses. And then After listening to the question, I will chew it in my mind. Generally, when somebody asks a question, I'll hear through my ears and then I will think. Then I'll use my intelligence and my memory. So I'll find out what is the right answer. Then I'll speak through my mouth. But when it comes to spiritual questions, so the two bodies we have, subtle body and gross body. So mind, intelligence, and ego belongs to gross body. Eyes, nose, ears, these senses belongs to gross body, and the mind, intelligence, and ego belongs to subtle body. So these two are the instruments which we are using in order to either convey a message or to hear a class, hear a question and an answer. So this is what is going on. Now the question comes, if it is going to be spiritual subject matters like Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, how do I handle? So very, very beautiful translation. So Goswami said, when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. It's a beautiful quote. So it's a very beautiful purport and translation. So you see here, when it is to the creative energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how the creation happens, we within the body are present within the creation. Now, how can one explain outside? So the information should come from outside. Okay. So outside, who is there? Outside the creation, the creator is there. So Krishna is outside the creation. And he conveyed this message to Brahma, how he created. And then Brahma told to Narada. Narada told to Vyasa. Vyasa told to Sukadeva. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami knows through Acharya Parampara. So that attitude of gratitude and that a chain of disciplic succession has to be remembered. So here very nicely it is explained. He then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Krishna. He didn't directly remember Krishna. No. How can you know Krishna? How can Sukadeva Goswami know Krishna? Sukadeva Goswami know Krishna through his guru, Vyasadeva. How did Vyasadeva know Krishna? Through his guru, Narada. How did Narada know Krishna? Through Brahma. In this way, through disciplic succession only, he knows. So he systematically remembers. And then in a reply, he properly spoke. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing, the devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. If somebody talks simply about Krishna, he is not initiated from Acharya Parampara, he has not heard from authorized sources, he has not read from an authorized book, but simply people speak about God. But that is not authorized information. The information will mislead. But when the devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describe transcendental, they do not think them independent. They do not become independent person. Okay, I know, I'll answer. No, that is not the attitude. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses. So systematically, how to remember? So now you see our classes, when we start our classes, we say, Om Jnana Timiranda Signana Jana Shalakya, or we tell the immediate spiritual master Pranam Mantra, Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataga Swami Niti Namine. So we remember the immediate spiritual master and pray to him to empower us to speak the right transcendental subject matter as it is. And then we remember the previous Acharya who wrote us the book and gave us Srila Prabhupada, Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. So we chant the pranam mantra of the previous Acharya. And then, especially the one who gave us the book, Srila Prabhupada. And then we are praying to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, you have written everything, you have given beautiful purports and excellent translations, and we should convey the message as it is without any interpretation. And I don't know. I'm a fool. I don't know. I don't know Krishna. I don't remember. Even if I know Krishna, I don't remember anything. I don't remember how the creation happened, how I am inside the creation. So I'm totally bewildered, my dear Lord. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. Om Ajnana. Ajnana means ignorance. So out of ignorance, I am fallen into the darkness of ignorance. But my spiritual master has given Jnana Anjana. He has given Jnana. Has my eye. I'm a blind person, but I am going to apply an ointment in my eye so that my eye will have vision. So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena. Chakshu, he gave me the vision. Who gave me the vision? My spiritual master gave me the vision. And then Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. In this way, I offer my respectful, loving, respectful obeisances unto my dear spiritual master. Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. So we chant this first mantra, and then we chant Guru Maharaj Pranam mantra, then we chant Prabhupada's Pranam mantra. In this way, sometimes devotees will feel that it's too long. Then they'll say, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and they want to speak. I want to speak. I want to speak. No, that is not the method. Even your speech can be small, no problem. If they give you 3 minutes to speak, still you chant the mantra, especially the prayers, to systematically remember. So you see here in this purport, systematically remembered the master of the senses, Krishna. He didn't remember directly the master of senses, Krishna. So one cannot approach Krishna directly. One has to approach Krishna through Acharya Parampara. So that is what is the systematic remembrance of Krishna. And in this way, we pray. And then we say Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya. First we say Om Ajnana Timirandasya. Then we say, saying that I am in ignorance, my dear spiritual master, please, you're the one who offers. So I offer my obeisances unto you. You open your vision, my vision. And then we pray Guru Maharaj Pranam Mantra, then Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, then Panchatattva Mantra, then Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the Hare Krishna Mahamantra addresses Krishna directly, my dear Krishna, and the internal potency of Krishna, please engage me in your service. In this way, we offer systematic prayer, and then only we speak. So we are following Acharya Parampara. See, we are following Bhagavatam very nicely. So here Prabhupada says that devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think can do anything independently. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak. Then what will happen when we do this properly, pray nicely, intensely, and then start our classes? What will happen? Krishna is also called Hrishikesha. Rishika Isha. Rishi means senses. And the Rishika Isha, Ishvara, means the master of the senses is sitting as Paramatma within our heart. And he will use our senses, our eye, our mouth to speak whatever he wants. In that way, we will speak without mistake. Because we won't speak, the Lord will speak through us. We are instruments. So they think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak. So Lord will make them speak what he wants them to speak. The senses of the individuals are being not his own. The devotees know such senses belong to the Supreme Lord. Rishika, Isha, Rishikesha. So the master of the senses, and they properly used when they are employed in the service of the Lord. So we are sincerely trying to convey the original message and make them aware of Supreme Lord. So this happens. The senses are instruments and element. The senses are only instruments. The senses, our body, we are not the body, we are soul. So the body is like a machine. So it's only an instrument. And the elements are ingredients. So all are endowed by the Lord. So therefore, whatever an individual can do, speak, etc. is under the direction. See, if somebody may have very good eyes, very good nose, very good, every limbs may very proper, but he may have a stroke. Or he may have paralysis. He can become bedridden. Because Lord didn't permit. Only our senses will function when Lord gives permission. Not the body, only the soul is there. That is not enough for the body to function. The Paramatma should sanction the action of the hands, the action of the eyes, the action of the ears. Otherwise, we'll simply become blinded. will simply become deaf. But a person who's totally in the wheelchair ridden like Guru Maharaj, his senses are functioning. He's remembering us. He's calling our name. How? Because the Lord is permitting. But we may have very good eyes, nose, everything, but we cannot speak properly. We may blabber something. We cannot hear properly. We may misunderstand. Our brain may not function properly. All this because Krishna doesn't sanction somebody to not understand something and not speak properly, not conduct properly. If Lord allows, it is possible. When will Lord allow? When sincerely, every limb has to be used only for the purpose of the Lord under the proper disciplic succession, then Lord fully allows the limbs to function, fully allows the intelligence to function. The mission will work properly. Rishigena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So that is the definition of bhakti. What is bhakti? Every sense, including intelligence, mind, everything should be always used in the service of the Lord. Then every limb will be used very, very nicely. Every limb can be used very nicely. Then Lord will empower. The Bhagavad Gita. So many times we think that, my dear Lord, use me as an instrument to fulfill your desire. But still, we have individual desire for our intelligence, individual desire for our mind, individual desire for our senses. And we think for ourselves a little bit. I'm like this. I'm not like that. Like this. So when that individuality comes, so here it is written independence. When we independently think, that much percentage that we are not instrument. That much percentage, 10% means 90% we are instrument, but 10% we are not. So how much surrendering our body and limbs, everything doesn't belong to me, it belongs to you, my dear Lord. So use me as an instrument. So how much we don't have personal desire, that much will it be successful. So this is the secret of Acharya Parampara, speaking without mistakes, where the Bhagavad Gita confirms this. Sarvasya chaham hridisanni vishto mattas mritir jnanam apohanam cha. So the remembrance and forgetfulness comes from me. The intelligence comes from me. This Lord promising, Lord is telling, it comes from me only. If I want, I can give you full. If I don't want, I won't give you. If I want a little bit to give you freedom, to intelligence, remembrance, and forgetfulness, I'll give you that much. So no one is free to act freely and independently. Nobody. And as such, one should always seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak. That is why we eat only prasadam. And in case if we have a situation in which we don't eat prasadam, we say Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. And we remember the Lord, my dear Lord, everything is provided by you only. And in this particular situation, this food is also provided by you only, my dear Lord. Please bless and give. So in this way, we have to seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak. The minute we try to act, eat or speak independently, we are in trouble. We'll have mistakes. What mistakes we will have? Very, very clearly explained by Prabhupada. Prabhupada is highly scientific. And by blessing of the Lord, everything is done by the devotee beyond the principles of 4 defects typical to conditioned soul. So, why do you need to go to approach Acharya Parampara? We are approaching the Acharya Parampara. We are approaching the Acharya Parampara for they are without mistakes. What are that? Imperfect senses, illusion, cheating propensity, and making mistakes. These are the 4 mistakes anybody will do. Defects. The senses are imperfect. So these 4 defects are there. That is the reason where one cannot directly read Bhagavad Gita, directly slokas. We have to have Acharya Parampara and purport. Now, when we speak, we are sitting in Vyasasana, we are representing Acharya Parampara. Tomorrow we may become Guru. Initially, we may give some instructions and we may take classes for some people. In any cases, we have to empower ourselves and come beyond the 4 defects of the conditioned soul and speak. And this is possible by the proper prayer, to the systematic prayer to the Acharya Parampara, not in the formality stake, but a sincere surrender, and at the same time, not having any desire to individually convey the message to independently convey any message. I am like this, I will speak like this. In this attitude, not that, my dear Lord, what you want me to speak, I have to speak that. So complete surrender. Every time, 24 hours we have to be, not just classes. 24 hours we should be like that. But if not, minimum, at least during the classes, we should maintain this purity of surrender of the senses to the Supreme Lord, including the mind and intelligence and information. So then that time, the speech will be 4 defects of the conditioned soul will not be there. The imperfect senses, the senses will become perfect during that time. All the senses. And then we'll be out of illusion and will not make mistakes and will not out of cheating propensity. Will be out of cheating propensity. So no psychological manipulations. So all these things happens because we are not surrendered. So when we surrender and speak, Lord will speak through us and will convey transcendental message and will become transformation in the heart of the other person, and he'll become an excellent devotee because Lord spoke to him through us. So this is the secret of taking classes. It's an amazing translation and purport, and one of the very, very important for those preachers who are taking classes. So Sukadeva Goswami is an example, and Prabhupada is giving the secret in this report.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Bol.
Please do share with us 5.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Yes.
You the 4 defects Prama, Pramadi, Vipralimsa, Karnapadava. Idinaluma.
Yes.
Starting there.
It's in the
Prama.
Ishopanishad.
Prama means imperfect senses.
Prama?
Prama means?
No, I don't know the Sanskrit. Can you repeat?
Prama, Pramadi, Vipralimsa, Karnapadava. மனிதனின் 4 குறைகள்.
Oh, I don't know the Sanskrit. Yena Prabhupada he has written in Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad's introduction, Prabhupada is writing these 4 defects in detail.
Okay. Ishopanishad. Okay, fine. I will.
Introduction.
Okay. Thank you. Super.
Hari
Bol.
So let's resume our class tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock sharp. Till then, Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
Paditapam Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Vaishnav Pranam.
Vacha Kalpatarupya. Pavanopya Vaishnavopya Namo Namaha.
Jai Sri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.